Welcome to another Railroads Online Showcase video, M.I.A. edition. We are back at the coal mine base camp. There's a double back-to-back climax behind me, so that means only one thing. We are finally doing it. We are finally going all the way up to the coal mine, which is placed very precariously in the mountains, and I've been looking forward to this ever since I started working on this modified industries map. So, big day, a lot of stuff to do. Let's start by introducing the new engines. We have Bonnie, the number 6.1. We have Donny, number 6.2. They are both, of course, climaxes, and the numbering is due to them being kind of part of a bigger whole here. And since they are both just here for this one purpose of getting stuff up and down to and from the coal mine, yeah, that's why they have connected numbers. Also, the naming scheme is so that I could theoretically, if I want to, even extend it. I was considering getting another two climaxes, which would then, of course, be 6.3 and 6.4. Likely Connie and Ronnie, whatever. Right now, I'm happy to just have these two, and they should be doing a decent job today. Did some testing to make sure that I don't completely fail with what I have in mind. So let's get the two engines going, add a bit of firewood here, and I forgot. There's the link from transportation over here. So let's quickly remove that, even though the link between them is invisible, it's a very strong one. Almost like a family bond. So just getting Bonnie all the way up ahead. I want Bonnie to be ahead of the cargo and Donnie to be behind it. And the entire train will be assembled somewhat outside of the station here. Also, just doing a bit of a test run, I already noticed a few things that I would like to do different, a few ideas that may be a bit out there but could work. So this is likely going to see a lot of reworks, and I hope I have the space for everything that I want to do. Okay, we are out of the station, so let's press the brakes. Get a link in here for the cargo that we are going to attach, which, by the way, is going to be rails for now. So to start out with, I want to supply the coal mine with rails. We have a grand total of 6 cars and 10 rails per car, so it's gonna be 60, which will fill up the coal mine to capacity here. So going back to the other climax. This entire roof thing here is pretty nice, but it's kind of more in the way than anything else. Makes it really hard to get into the engine. So yeah, a lot of stuff will likely need to be redone here. I should add firewood to this as well, otherwise we're not gonna get too far here. From what I tested for this type of cargo, I need the power of 1.4 or something climaxes. So one of them won't cut it alone. You don't need the full two of them. There's a bit more headroom for more cargo, but for now I'm just happy to have a few cars up there. Nothing too complicated. Also, I noticed that there's a ghost braking bug sometimes where you may turn the brake to 0 on in this interface and the full interface of all the sliders. It still, for some reason, sometimes has some braking active, so if engines don't really roll as much as they used to, that's likely the reason. But it also means that maybe I can't use the full potential of the... Oh shit, wrong direction, stop. Thank God for the end of track device there. It also means that maybe the engines need to push through some brakes that I just can't completely let loose, and therefore they may not reach their full potential, but it should be alright for this one. As long as none of the brakes completely block. Okay, gonna ease that in a little at least. So yeah, this is our cargo right now. And I'm just gonna back it up a bit further until we reach Bonnie with it, and then the journey is about to start, I guess. Let's see, how are we doing for temperature? Almost 200 degrees. So it should soon be starting to refill the boiler pressure. Everything going to plan right now. Speaking of plans, I did some kinda calculations for how much the stuff can carry. So I already noticed how many engines I need for this stuff, and I took a bit of time to calculate how much each of the cars weigh. So I think it's about 9,000 pounds for one of the empty cars. A slightly bit more for just the cargo here. So it's 9,300. So it's almost a almost 1-to-1 ratio between the car and the cargo here. But these ones weigh more than twice as much. So overall, you could say one car of beams, with the beams and the car involved, they weigh like 2, or a factor of 2, and this one weighs a factor of 3. So that gives you a pretty good idea of how long this entire thing could be. So 2/3 or 3 times longer than divided by 2 again, so something like that. I should maybe get rid of a brake. There should be a temperature here now, yep. Might as well add a bit more firewood. Also, I remember there is another switch coming up, and if I actually want to go into the mountains and not just leave the station, I should maybe flick it to the right. Whoop, so here we go, quickly jumping ahead. And now we should all be set. That's the back end engine. So this one is working in full blast. Brake is fully loose, and that means that I now need to go to the rear engine, because otherwise, yeah, we're not gonna make it too far. One of them is definitely not enough. Maybe it would be if the other engine wasn't attached as well, but yeah, I'll give this one a bit of power. 50% should be alright. Also, I'm kind of looking forward to getting rid of some of the firewood here. I don't want to just throw it out, but it's kind of blocking the view a bit. But speaking of not just throwing it out, here we go. So this should be making its way up to at least until the switchback now without much problem. So yeah, if I have a train full of beams, it's gonna be a bit longer than this one. Should be alright. I'm considering to maybe get some of the smaller cars involved for the rails here. Just to eventually get to something where the ratios make sense. And I can just deliver all the stuff in a ratio that the coal mine can actually use up. By the way, we are now facing the west end of the mountain range here, which is where the oil field used to be, but now there is actually a logging camp over there in the distance somewhere. Pretty tough to spot. It must not be doing too much work here, otherwise there would be fewer trees in the way, I guess. So the ratio is actually 2 beams to 1 rail, with 10 rails on one car and 3 beams. You can imagine that you need a lot more cars full of beams than rails, and it kind of works out to, if you only want to have full regular cars, 3 cars of rails, so that would be 30. And then you would get 60 beams, which is 20 cars, so 3 cars of one, 20 of the other. And I think that would be 300 units of coal, so that's quite a lot. Coming up to the north end now, which is where the freight depot used to be, we still have a tiny station here, which I should eventually work on a bit more and get into something fully blown, but I honestly didn't bother yet. Still don't have the best idea for that area, but eventually I need to do something to make it a bit more useful at least. Also I think that's the water tower over there, potentially. And in the far distance in the center of the screen you should see the sawmill. Also I think there's a cut through somewhere over here to bypass this area if you just want to go from the loading camp directly to the sawmill. Might be able to see a bit more once we get a bit further up in the mountains. Up ahead we should be seeing the switchback soon. That should be the end of the tracks that will connect. But yeah, doing some stuff with the smaller cars where you can fit 4 rails onto. You could use 3 of those to get 12 rails in total, and that would be 24 beams. Meaning you would need 8 cars of beams and 3 of the half-length cars for rails, which is kinda okay, I would say. So that would be 11 cars in total, some of which would be not be full length, so these 2 vehicles should be able to get that up. And I think that should weigh almost exactly as much as the 12 of hopper cars which you would need to get all the coal down, so that would be quite a nice plan if it was to just work out like that. I'll definitely try in the future. There we can see the purchase area for new cars and trains, and also a bit of the stage that I built there. I really like the view. It's so cool going up here. The switchback is gonna be a bit stressful. I need to make sure that I don't cut the power too early on the front engine, otherwise the train is just gonna tumble back down to the ground. I need to make sure I don't cut the power too late, because otherwise we're gonna hit the end of track device at speed and then likely derail, which would be a bit tough to pick up from this position. And I think in overall conclusion I need to do something about the switchback area. It's not amazing right now. So coming up here, gonna cut the power. Just get out here, walk back to the end of the walkway, get into the other engine, cut the power, hit the brakes. Oh, this stupid bug. And this is what happens if you're not fast enough. So let's have a look at the other end. Thankfully the engines aren't that quick, so this might be alright. Doesn't look like anything happened. Yeah, no derailment here. That could have gone worse. But yeah, my idea is that I'll keep the first part flat. The first part, yeah. And then likely go up to a 10% incline, so a bit further up here. Make it longer so you get a bit of a gravity break. And that should hopefully make everything work a bit better. Also the entire thing just needs to be longer. If I have longer trains up here, it's not gonna work out too well. But yeah, now that we are fully on the switchback, we can just turn this around. By the way, this was the first switchback that I built in this game. The other 2 for the track coming down from the mountains towards the freight depot, that happened way later. I just happened to only be using this stuff now instead of, closer to when I built it. Anyways, let's go further up the mountain. Turn the switch. Just gonna go into the rear engine and go through the wood and just add a bit more power to it. So let's go further up front again. The rear engine is just there to provide a bit of support. Doesn't do too much otherwise. It should be a bit more relaxed when we finally get to the coal mine. I think the tractor is a bit longer to handle everything. I mean, it should be if I have enough, or if I want enough space to unload everything. Yeah, now we are coming back up to the south side of the mountain, so we can see the ironworks in the distance, the base camp. Yes, that's where we started the journey, and I gotta say, this view is just brilliant. I almost wish the game had something like this in its base form and its base configuration, because this is so much fun. Also in my eyes, something like this is the only reason why you need gear trains or gear engines. In the base game, yeah, you can make some things see, but for the most part you are way better off just relaxing the inclines a bit and just making sure that you can go with a regular road engine and higher speed, because usually it's more about getting distance and getting over a height difference. With this one, it's really just a height difference, and you can choose multiple different ways on how you want to get up here. And we almost made it. There it is. Just coming around the corner, we have the coal mine, and this is just... I don't know, it looks so good. Been a long time coming getting here. So let's cut the engine. Get back to the other end of the train. Cut the engine as well, and just hit the brakes, and it's not stopping again, because why would it? Also, one thing that I already learned to dislike about the climax, it has way too much going on this end. I mean, it makes sense. In real life you wouldn't just accidentally be hitting anything here, but in the game it's tough not to accidentally do something with the handvalve when you just want to reach the regulator or the reverser or the brakes. So it's not amazing in some ways. But that's what you get for realism. I could go into the just the driving menu for that, but I don't really want to. So first up, let's get rid of all the rails. The main reason why we got here to begin with was to deliver them. So let's just slowly pass by and get all of that stuff unloaded. Shouldn't take too long, because after all, it's not the longest train ever built. That would be the one from the last episode. And I don't want it to get up here. But I remember when I started building this, and I was explicitly looking, not cooking, for just a very high up space to put the coal mine in. Someone on the Discord where I showed the picture of this said it looked cursed. I get where they're coming from, but for me at least, this is exactly what I want from this. The coal mine isn't really used of it much in this game. I mean, of course, it's a very important industry because it allows you to refuel your coal-driven engines, and you also need it in order to get the ironworks started. But overall, you don't need much coal. I mean, the coal engines never run out. I wonder if it ever changed that. And also the ironworks doesn't need all that much coal. You do a few deliveries there, but it really only takes out very little in order to produce anything. And even the coal mine itself, for delivering one piece of rail, 2 pieces of beams, you get 10 units of coal. So maybe even if you needed to get more coal out of here, you don't need to exactly supply it all that often. So yeah, having this in a more precarious situation where you don't need to go all that often, but you get a bit more of a challenge and experience going up here. It was kind of what I was aiming for, and I gotta say, it's working out pretty nicely in my opinion. So yeah, the other place is also quite nice for some industries, over here in the southeast end where it used to be. But I think that's better for any industry that actually needs a lot of supplies where you need to go often, so you can work on getting a proper track laid down over there. But this one can be a bit more janky, a bit more something that you don't want to use every day, because it won't be. Anyways, instead of rambling on, let's do something more up here. I just want to quickly go to the end of the track here, just to see how much space there is still left in order to estimate if I maybe need to build this out a bit further, considering that I'll likely come with a bit of a longer train in the future. Maybe not even with two climaxes, but at least with a bit more stuff in tow. And then we'll likely go back down again. By the way, on this side, you can actually see the iron mine down there. So we are a decent ways further up. Was actually also considering to maybe make like another track that goes all the way up to the top. Maybe just have a dedicated, maybe Betsy could be doing that. Let's have a Betsy, maybe like a caboose or something, and just allow somebody to go up there and enjoy the view. That would be nice. We're coming up on the end of the track. I don't want to be just tiptoeing up here, like really just creeping up on the end. But I also don't want to ram in at full force, so a bit tough getting the mix done. Since this is for a video, I don't want to be like completely slow crawling everything. But okay, we pretty much go to the end of this part here, so there's space for a decent amount of cars again, so that should be alright. Would definitely put the rails to the back end of the train, I guess. Oh, wait a second, is this the front end of the train when it starts somewhere now? I think it should be, yeah. So the rails should go to the front end and the beams to the other end, yeah. Just in case I make it so long that it actually doesn't fully go past the drop-off platform for the beams. And also so that if I want to drop off all the rails and need to go for, imagine they were on this end with beams on the other, just so that this end of the train isn't so long that it will catch the downward slope and just yeah, go back down the hill. And okay, the brake is loose, nothing happening here, should be alright. So I just need to give the other engine a bit of a kick in order to pull everything back down the hill again. Alright, let's get going. So the main reasons for me doing this with a coal mine is, again, you don't need to go here too often. It's a bit more of an experience. And I really wanted something where you wouldn't just drive through with your main road engines. Of course, you could make a track up here. Would likely wrap around the entire map a few times if you do it with like a 1 or 2% incline. Maybe that's a bit ridiculous, but would be possible. I think this is a very different experience and I just like it for that. And now we're gonna go down. Also quite happy that I'm doing this on a version where the cars don't derail all the time if they go a bit too quickly. Because this could be a pain. So let's see, we are still picking up speed. Gonna lock a few brakes here. And just enjoy the way down again. It's so cool seeing everything from a different perspective here. I think we are maybe going down a bit too slow. I don't want to crawl as I mentioned. I don't want to just yeah, go down at a snail pace or something. I want to give it a bit of speed, but not so much that the entire thing is gonna derail. I think now it's picking up a bit. Oh yeah, I should actually get rid of the brake here. Okay, now we are getting way fast. Had I said something in my head like leave a regulator or something that didn't allow me to pull the brake again? Okay, this is shaking a bit too much for my liking. Well, this might be alright, but okay, we're coming in hot. Also gonna slow down a lot. I think this is good. We are fully on the switchback. We didn't hit the end of track device, so this is a win in my book. Just gonna get rid of all the brakes and go to the other end. So overall this is working out pretty nicely, and I'm just blown away by the view and everything. This is cool. Let me know in the comments if you want how you think of this entire thing. I'm not necessarily sure if the base game should make you do something like this, but I think it's definitely a worthwhile experience if you do. I mean, the other main thing I had an issue with was just how stupidly close the last three things were on the map. I think this is a very boring area to work in, especially if it's just the last three industries, so that's another reason why I decided to do this stuff at all. But hey, when moving around almost all of the industries in the game, why not try to make it a bit more exciting in some ways? With something that's a bit out there. We are going through the S-bend now. Feels a bit dodgy when you are coming back down with more than the regular speed of a climax. And maybe it's alright to just have the front brake pulled. Also, maybe I should go ahead and shave some of the mountains so that they are not completely littered with trees. That might improve things as well. Just from how it all looks, but that's something to do in the future. Another few plans I have for the entire station that I could be doing. I'm considering to maybe add a few cooling towers and just put them up all in a row. Let's say if I want to go up with 12 hopper cars, I would actually put up 12 coaling towers. So when you come down, you can just deposit all the coal into the towers, store them there and go up and down as much as you want, and then later come in with some other hoppers from outside of the industry and then just load those up again. Would be a nice way to store things and transfer them between cars. Also, I tried out a few things that I figured you can actually transfer stuff between these day cars and everything as well, if you put them side by side. Let's see if I can slow down again. If I can configure the switch correctly, I can show you in a moment. That's just to end out the video with. Let's just come around the turn and... oh god, I'm way too slow. Yeah, not happening. Okay, let's brake. I need to go onto the track next to me here. And then I should be able to just unload the stuff from that car, for example, onto one that's directly next to it. Let's see. Going back. Turning the valve more open. I'm a bit surprised this one still has fuel in it, but That's actually pretty nice. Also, besides just making this entire station a bit longer, I think I'll also add the whole supply area to this point here. Just so I don't have to drive out with all the climaxes. I was considering to even make it so that you can connect the climaxes back to back and then have two watering towers that can just fill them up like that. So there would be two in the right distance to each other. But then again, if it's more like what we have here right now, I don't think it's necessarily going to happen too often. Theoretically, now that I know that I can just move the stuff between the cars, I could actually maybe set up another train with two of these engines and then never really disconnect it or something, but just keep loading the stuff in between them. That would be interesting. Okay, I want to get this a bit more in line. So let's just let it roll. Hit the brake and that's perfect. I don't think it needs to be anywhere near as perfect, but okay, I just ruined it anyways. But yeah, if I now go to this car over here. Ah, there's the arrow. Hitting enter puts it right onto this one. So if I turn this into more like a storage area for the stuff, I could theoretically just do this, get one train set up the way I wanted to. So it would likely be 8 of these cars and then 3 of the shorter ones, and then just load everything over just like that. I think that would be hilarious. Yeah. So yeah, that would be one way to get going again, and it seems to be working pretty consistently, so not much of an issue with this. Nice. But yeah, I guess that's gonna be it from my side for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it anywhere near as much as me, because I had a blast today. This was something that I've been working on for so long, with many steps in the middle, like laying, or first up even putting the industry there, then laying the track all the way down, starting the entire station, finishing it, getting all the engines for this. It's so cool to finally see everything come together. And we are going to see what's going to happen with this place going into the future, because this is only the start of it. There's still a lot of optimization and everything, but that's going to be it for this video. Right now it works. It works well and it's amazing. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and till next time. Bye bye.